Hello, bonjour. Welcome to our new lecture. So, bienvenue, welcome back. I'm very happy you're with us today and I hope you will enjoy this lecture. Today we're going to talk about consonants in French. It's still part of our introduction to French phonetics and we will learn about consonants more specifically. In the past lectures, we've talked about the alphabet in general and about vowels. Today, let's see our learning objectives, or as we say in French, objectifs d'apprentissage. In this lecture, you will learn what consonants in French sound like. You will also learn basic conventions when reading and spelling out consonants sound in French, and as well as basic information about semi-vowels. This lecture will be split into 3 different parts, which you can watch in any order you like. So let's start with the first part of this lecture. As we saw before, in the French alphabet we have 26 letters, and out of these 26 letters we have 20 basic consonants. As a reminder, here are the 20 consonants in French. We have B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, and Z. So, as you may remember, the main point here to remember is that instead of having sounds in E like B, C, D, in French we have sounds in E like B, C, D. As I mentioned in the first lecture, you also have to be careful about G and J, which in English are G and J. In French, G is G and J is J in English. But if you want to review these letters, you can also check in the first lecture because we saw those already. Now, accents don't exist on consonants in French. However, we have the letter C, which can be spelled with a cédille. And when it's spelled with a cédille, it can be either in capital form or in small form. And you can see those here. So you remember accents? We saw those in the previous lectures, and they are added on vowels. For example, we had accent aigu, accent grave, and accent circonflexe. We saw that in the previous lecture. If you don't remember them, you can of course review this lesson. When combined with some other letters, some consonants are pronounced in a different way. If you remember well, it was the same with vowels. Sometimes 2 vowels together will make a different sound, and with consonants it's the same. 2 consonants together might have a different sound, or a consonant might be influenced by a vowel which follows it and sound different because of it. First, let's see the basic pronunciation of consonants, and let's start with the ones that are pronounced exactly always in the same way. So we have B, D, F, K, Q, V, and Z. These ones are fairly straightforward, so you might want to start learning those first. However, you have to be careful about one thing, because some consonants will become silent when they're placed at the end of a word. Let's see some examples. B, you can have here, and you can hear when it's at the beginning or in the middle or at the end of the word, it will sound in the same way. So we have B comme bébé. Comme is such as. B comme bébé. B comme arbre. B comme baobab. So, bébé, arbre, baobab. D. D, you can hear it here at the beginning and in the middle of the word, or, between other vowels, other consonants. It will sound similar. However, in this case, at the end, the sounds become silent. So, listen carefully. D, dinde. Adresse, nid. So if you listen in the first one, dinde, you hear the D in the same way both times. adresse, it sounds the same again, but in ni, you don't hear the D sound. Don't say nid because that would be wrong in French. It's ni. Then F, you have fou, Afrique, œuf. Here, at the end of the word, we still hear the F sound. So I repeat again for you. Fou, Afrique, œuf. Let's see now how to pronounce the letter K. K comme koala, kayak, yak. Here you will notice when the K is at the end, you still hear the K sound. It's the K sound. Here you will also notice words like koala, kayak, yak, they actually all come from foreign languages. The letter K is not really used in French except in foreign words. You will not find it, or it will be very rare in French words, in native words. So here, let's review these sounds again. We have B, as in bébé, D, as in dinde, F, like in fou, K, like in koala. So far, it's pretty straightforward because the sounds are nearly the same as in English. However, you will notice the D sound is more pronounced in French than in English. It's stronger. It's a stronger sound. Same with B, we insist more on the sound. Now, let's see with the other consonants that are pronounced in the same way. So we saw B, D, F, K for the letters B, D, F, K. Now let's see for the sound for Q, V, and Z, which are going to make the sound K, V, and Z. K is actually, you will notice it sounds the same as in with the letter K. You remember we had K like kayak. Here we have K like quatre. Quatre, époque, coq. Here, if the K is the final letter, you will still hear it. Now, there's something important to know about the K sound when it's written with a Q, or the Q, as we say in French. When we spell it at the beginning or in the middle of the word, the Q will always be followed by a U. But you don't actually pronounce this U, it will be a silent U. But if you listen, quatre, quatre is sound like in kayak. So when you have Q-U-A, it's exactly like if you had K-A. Époque, it's the same, it sounds as if you had K-E. You won't hear the U sound here, so you have to be careful. Quatre, époque, coq. Now, the only time when you won't have the U after the Q is when the Q is spelled, it's located at the end of a word, like in coq. V is the V sound. So we have V comme vélo, V comme livre, V comme anive. Actually, you won't normally see V at the end of a word, so that's why here we have an apostrophe, because this is actually not a full word, it's just a shortened form for birthday, which is anniversaire. You know, anniversaire is like anniversary in English, except in French it means both anniversary and birthday. But so in this shortened form, the V is at the end, but usually you don't really have French words finishing in V. It will be usually shortened words or possibly foreign words. Now let's see the Z sound that you have with the letter Z. Z, Z, comme zéro, 15, and ri. Here you will notice Z, you hear the Z if it's at the beginning, if it's in the middle of the word, but it will be silent when it's at the end of a word. So ri is going to be silent. Here I put it in the list of letters that are always pronounced in the same way, because that will be like this maybe 99% of the time, but of course you might have exceptions. Exceptions are always when it's words that come from foreign languages, but vast majority of the times it will be pronounced like this. So Z like in zéro, 15, and silent when it's at the end of the word in ri. all these words, I advise if you really want to know what they are, you can look them up in the dictionary. But again, here, remember the main point is to have example for phonetics. The definition of those words is not actually that important. Now, let's review these sounds again. So we have be, like in rabbin. We have de, like in additif. Feu, like in affaire. The, like in jazz. Here I'm giving you a few examples where you notice we have a double consonant. The double consonant you actually don't hear twice. We have, if we had the word with bébé or baobab with only one b, it sounds exactly the same as in rabbin. Additif, you see, it sounds like we had in adresse. It's not different. Additif, adresse. You hear the de sound only once. You don't hear it twice. Feu, like in affaire, again, you hear it only once. Jazz, you hear the sound only once. Here you notice we have a double Z at the end of the word, but this is very rare. It's usually, again, foreign words. That's why here you hear the sound, but again, this one of these exceptions I was talking about. Again, because they're so rare, I consider that this letter is always pronounced in the same way. Don't really worry about the sounding at the end of the word. I didn't put example with que or the Q sound so que for K or Q, because you won't see double K or double Q in French. You won't see double V either, so I can't give you an example here.